So I just made the dumbest mistake online. I cannot even believe how dumb of a mistake that it was. And when I found out what I did, I was totally almost in tears. It was that bad. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Heather, and we are actually out in my backyard right now. It's really nice. We're excited to have found a house with a fun yard. We've got a pond behind us. Um, but yeah, before I get into the details of the dumb thing that I did, we are going to go ahead and go over some of my best sales over this last week. The following items are some of the better items that sold for me this last week on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. I don't offer free shipping, so the buyer paid shipping on top of all of the sold prices that I'm going to mention. I sold this tie Beanie Buddies plush for $17.97. I picked it up at a garage sale for $1. I actually bought a whole bunch of Beanie Babies and the Beanie Buddies. They're bigger at this garage sale, and it seems like the plushes do better than the little Beanie Babies, but I've still had some of the Beanie Babies sell, but a lot of people will tell you don't pick them up. But on this one, it still worked out. If you get them cheap enough, I still made a good profit on this one. I sold this Tyco Elmo from 1995, still had the tag on it. I picked it up at Goodwill for $1.08 and sold it for $12.97. I sold these Boggs men's boots for $70. That was an offer that was made. And I picked these up at the Goodwill outlet in Portland for just $5.89 because it's by the pound. And unfortunately, they are kind of heavy boots. I think they were over 5 pounds to ship. I sold this X-Men Wolverine action figure. I also picked this one up at the bins in Portland. And by the weight, it ended up costing me only 6 cents. And I sold it for $32.26. So a really nice flip there. I sold this baby throw baby boy blanket. I picked this up at probably Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, I don't remember which one, for $7.60 and sold it for $34.97. I sold this biscotti baby dress. It's brand new with tags. I picked it up at Bye Bye Baby when COVID was just starting. It was on clearance for $8.55, and I sold it for $38.47. I sold this Tommy Hilfiger men's bomber jacket for $182, a pretty exciting sale. I picked this up at the clearance event that TJ Maxx and Marshalls does in the spring, and I only paid $53.04, and it looks like I should be making about a $100 profit on that one. It did go to Israel, to somebody that only had one feedback. So I'm a little scared that we might have problems with it getting there. You just never know sometimes with international stuff. Sometimes they'll turn around and come back, or the buyer will never get it, and then you end up losing money. So hopefully this turns out to be a $100 profit, not a $50+ loss. But I did do eBay's international shipping, so I do have $100 in coverage there. So hopefully even if it gets lost, I won't really lose any money. I sold these Buster Brown girls' boots. They're new with tags. I picked them up at Goodwill for $4.04 and sold them for $20. I sold this Ralph Lauren men's button front shirt for $20.97, and I picked this up at a garage sale for just $2. I sold these Franco Sardo sandals. I think that's how you say it. I sold them for $20.45, and I picked them up at Goodwill for $4.04. I sold this Nautica boys hoodie for $14.60, and I picked it up at the Once Upon a Child for $1.08. The Once Upon a Child in Chicago had sales every, I don't know, twice a year maybe, and they would try to get through their clearance, and they would price everything at $1. So you can go in and all of their clearance is $1, and that's when I picked up that hoodie. I sold these Fingerlings toys. I picked them up at the Goodwill outlet for 79 cents. It was by the pound, and I sold it for $14.66. I sold this Fisher Price Little People Mickey and Eddie set. I paid $2 for these and sold them for $19.96. I actually picked these up at a garage sale with the Disneyland castle and a little teacup attachment that goes on to the castle. And I sold the teacup attachment for $28 back in December. So a super high profit on that one. And I still have the castle, but I paid $5 for all of it together. So between just these three accessories, the two people and the teacups, that was, $48 of a sale just for those three items. So some really good profit there. I sold these Converse unicorn high tops. They're like a toddler size. I sold them for $24 and I picked them up at a thrift store in Idaho over the summer for $3.18. I sold this original penguin boys sweater. It was also brand new with tags. I picked it up at that same Once Upon a Child Dollar Day for $1.08 because of the tax. And I sold it for $18. I sold this Nautica baby boy set. It's new with tags. I picked it up at the same Bye Bye Baby clearance sale for $4.90, and I sold it for $27. I sold these Carter's little girls boots for $25. I bought them at Carter's during their end of season clearance for $4.37. I sold these Nine West navy blue heels for $33. I bought these when Ross reopened after the first round of COVID closures, and they had a huge clearance blowout essentially, and everything was super cheap, and I only paid $8.16 for those. I sold this Julia Jordan navy blue dress. I picked this up at Goodwill. It was on their half off color of the week. I paid $4.12 and I sold it for $30. I sold these My Little Pony blind bag figures. There were 8 of them. I actually bought a Chutes and Ladders My Little Pony game, and all of these extra figures were in the box with the game. They didn't come with them, so I just took them out and sold them separately. I have about $1 into it. I paid $2 for the game, so I'm saying $1 for the game and $1 for the ponies. So I paid $1 and I sold them within like 2 hours for $14. So this is what happened. So like week and a half ago probably, I went online to Macy's.com and I placed a large order of $720. I think that's what it was after the tax. Total was of stuff to sell on Amazon. And I was really nervous because the stuff was kind of higher priced, but I was going to make like probably $10 to $12 in the end once it flipped. And I thought that it would go fast, but you never know on Amazon because somebody else can come and undercut your price, and then you can be stuck with it for a while, or you have to get rid of it for super cheap. So I placed this order and my credit card needed updated because we've moved. So I went in and changed the address and placed the order and all was good. Well, a couple days later, I got a notification that said, your item has been delivered. And I thought, interesting, I've not really seen anything. So I went and I looked out the front door, and of course, there's nothing there. So I go back to my phone and I look on my phone and it says delivered, and it's our Chicago address. And I was just like, oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. Like seriously, the very first thing that went through my head was, I'm going to have to pay to have these big boxes full of stuff get shipped to Florida from Chicago. This is going to be horrible. So we called up our next door neighbor in Chicago and asked him if he could go next door and get the packages. And he went and tried, and he said they were pretty sure, or he was pretty sure that they were home. And there were cars in the driveway, but they wouldn't answer their door. And so he said, that he had gotten upset with them about something earlier because they had parked in his grass or something, and so he thought maybe they just weren't answering the door because it was him. So he said maybe we should try somebody else. So we found a friend and sent her over, and she said there were 3 cars in their driveway, and she rang the doorbell, nobody came, and so she calls me and says they won't answer their door. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? What if they decide that they're just gonna keep the boxes? What if they just throw them away? You know, like, I mean, what are you gonna do with, it was all the same item. So $720 worth of the same thing, unless they wanted to resell it, I don't know. So in the meantime, I'm Googling things and I'm looking online to see, you know, what happens in that kind of scenario if somebody gets your stuff, or, you know, like, what are they liable for? And it kind of sounds like, unless it's USPS, they can kind of do whatever they want with it. And as, you know, dishonest as that sounds, you know, Macy's would have no responsibility to us, and UPS wouldn't have a responsibility to us because we are the ones that made the mistake, and they fulfilled their end of the bargain, which is totally true. So I'm just panicking, thinking, you know, there's no way to contact them. They're going to just keep my stuff. I'm going to be out $720, which is even worse than the money that it would have cost to have it shipped from Chicago to Florida. So I had this friend, I had her go back and leave a note on their door. And I said, just try to be really friendly and ask if maybe they'll text you or call you and figure out what to do with the packages. So she went back and she left a note. She's super, super sweet, and I'm so grateful for her help. And in the meantime, we called UPS because there were 5 packages that needed to be delivered. 4 had already been dropped off, but there was still 1 that hadn't been delivered. And so we thought, well, maybe if we can at least stop that 1 package, that if they are dishonest and they're going to keep my stuff, then they at least won't have all of it. So we called UPS, and UPS said that they hadn't received the actual shipment yet, that we needed to talk to Macy's. So then we called Macy's and talked to Macy's, and Macy's was kind of the opposite. They said that they had already printed the label, packaged it, and that, I don't know, they said that UPS had it. So somewhere in between there, I'm not sure exactly who had it. But we told Macy's the story, and they told us to contact UPS to try to stop it. And we're like, well, we already talked to UPS and they said that you had it. And anyway, in the end, they got back on the phone and they're like, well, we just did a item not received case, and we're just going to credit the money back to your account. And so my husband's talking to them this whole time. So he gets off the phone. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you serious? Because now I feel super bad. I mean, first, we were out all the money. Now Macy's is giving us back all the money. But then I feel like that's dishonest because Macy's didn't make the mistake. I'm the one that made the mistake. Although, you know, I'm feeling very grateful to Macy's that they are, you know, chipping in on their customer service and going overboard to help us to make this better. But yeah, then I just felt horrible that Macy's was going to, you know, take the hit. So then the next day I got a phone call from this friend that left the note, and it turns out that this new family that's living in our old house decided to text her. They texted back and forth and told her that they were going to take all the packages back to UPS, and they were just going to write return to sender on the packages. So it was all going to go back to Macy's. And Macy's has policy that if you write return to sender on a package that you don't want, if you need to cancel it, that once they get it back, they'll just return your money like it was a return. And so all 4 of those packages went back. And for some reason, the 5th package, when it did go to get delivered, like right after it delivered, we got a notification that said that it was delivered, and then like 2 minutes later it said delivery failed, and then the reason was, it said that the addressee had moved or something like that. So I'm not sure if the people were outside and happened to talk to the UPS person, and then they just told them that we moved and gave the box back. But in the end, that one also went back to Macy's, and I just got a notification from them saying that they just had it delivered back to Macy's. So in the end, everything turned out okay. I didn't have to send it all to Orlando, and Macy's got their merchandise back. I got my money back, and yeah. But oh my goodness, guys, there for a little bit, I was so sick to my stomach and just beating myself up. Like, you are so dumb, Heather. Why did you do that? I seriously did the same thing last Christmas, and I sent stuff to our previous address, which was in Utah. And so I got all this stuff for my kids, and it went to Utah, and I had to go get my sister-in-law to go pick that up, and then we did have to pay to have that sent to Illinois. So yeah, one of these days I'm going to learn to double check the address. So if you are going to be making any orders online, make sure you're checking the address. It's yeah, such a headache when it goes the wrong place. So in the end, everything turned out okay, and I'm so grateful. And yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure and hit the like button, and if you could subscribe to my channel, I would totally love that. It is super hard to get subscribers and likes, and the more that I get, the more it pushes the videos up in the feed. So if you could do that, I would totally appreciate it. And thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time. Bye.